Hey, my name is Zen. And don't worry, there's actually a whole person attached to these hands off screen. I promise I'm not a set of disembodied arms. Really. Unless that's what you want me to be. No judgment here. If you're here, then I'm guessing you're having some trouble falling asleep. Then you can stay here for a bit, if you want to. I'm just going to be building Gundam Lfrith here, from the hit Japanimation Mobile Suit Gundam, The Witch from Mercury. Maybe watching the bits and pieces of plastic coming apart and then coming back together can help you relax for a bit. At least, I hope so. I have trouble sleeping sometimes, too. Danish philosopher and wise dead person Soren Kierkegaard once said, "I go fishing for 1,000 monsters in the depths of my own self." I don't really know what he meant by that, but it reminds me about how I always come up with the most interesting topics to think about right before I go to bed. Like a good miso soup. It's a traditional Japanese soup, made with dashi stock and miso paste. It usually comes with tofu and seaweed. I like having mine with extra seaweed in it. I think a good bowl of soup at the right time can cleanse the soul when the body can't handle anything else. Like a warm hug, or holding the hand of someone you love. They say miso soup has a lot of antioxidants and anti-aging properties, so that's good too, if you're into that. The other day, I was playing with a family dog. There he is, right there. His name is Taco, because my parents couldn't pronounce his original name. While I was patting his head, I noticed that he started to get a couple of gray hairs around his snout. I wonder if Taco thinks about aging, or about trying to get more miso soup into his diet. Does he notice that the people he's seen almost every day of his life suddenly look different from what they used to look like? Sorry, that's probably not helping. Ignore that last part for now. Anyways, I think Taco probably doesn't. I like to think his biggest existential crisis is whether or not he'll finally catch the squirrels that wander into the backyard. He always keeps trying, even after the squirrels end up outrunning him anyways. And it almost looks like he enjoys the chase. If he can comprehend whimsy, then I think that might be what he's actually chasing. Maybe we could be more like Taco. You'll get them one day, buddy. Animals are always fun to look at. Sometimes I go to the aquarium to look at the jellyfish. Or I'll go to the zoo to look at the giraffes. But never to feed them. I'm afraid they'll get a taste for flesh and bite my hand off. If that happened, then I wouldn't be able to build this Gundam, now would I? Sometimes I think about what my spirit animal would be. I don't think it would just be my favorite animal, which is the mighty penguin. Some people have told me that I have the qualities of a cat. or an owl. Sometimes maybe even a meerkat. If I get to have a say, I'd say I'm the penguin that wanders off from the rest of the group in that one nature documentary. Not just because I like penguins, but because that specific penguin chose to wander into this vast unknown, denying its own self-preservation and the familiarity of its group, towards the mountains off into the distance, towards something seemingly impossible to reach. I like to wander too, although maybe not into the mountains. There aren't any around here. At most, I'll wander into a new bookstore and browse the new releases, or a new cafe to try out their new oat milk brown sugar latte, now with extra latte. But even that can feel like a mountain sometimes. And sometimes it gets lonely doing that on my own, like that penguin probably was. But you keep going anyways. Not to go there to die, but to find out what it truly means to live. Cowboy Bebop. See you, Space Cowboy. Bang. But if I'm not that penguin, then I'm definitely like Grape-kun, who was always with Honolulu, an anthropomorphic Humboldt penguin character from the 2017 anime series Kimono Friends. Apparently, it originally started out as a mobile game, then got turned into a manga, got a sequel game, and finally got adapted into a show. That's a lot of media. It's about a zoo filled with endangered species and mythical creatures that have been magically turned into anime girls. Grape-kun has pretty good taste in Japanese cartoons for a penguin. I should be more like him and watch more anime. The last thing I actually watched in full was Witch from Mercury, the show where this Gundam is from. I thought the giant mech fights and political drama were engaging, but the romance between Miorne and Soletta was actually really heartwarming and became the highlight of the show for me. I hope you find someone who looks at you the way they look at each other. Or the way Grape-kun looks at Honolulu, at least. Good night, sweet prince. Still awake? The Gundam's coming along pretty nicely. To be honest, this is all I had for this video. Fun fact. This footage was originally recorded almost 2 years ago. It started off as something completely different, but I decided never to put it out because I wasn't happy with the final edit. Although it might be strange to look at a version of myself from 2 years ago, don't worry about it too much. My hands still look the same, more or less. Well, my cuticles are less fucked up now. But honestly, I prefer looking at videos of my hands to actual photos or videos of my face. I don't think I'm very photogenic. I kind of look away from myself whenever I see my reflection anywhere. Maybe I should unpack that. Well, not before unpacking more of this kit's plastic. I would have included the sounds of the bits and pieces clicking and clacking together, but the version of me from 2 years ago didn't have the foresight to not have copyrighted music playing on his speakers as he was building. You guys can send your complaints to him. Oh, Have you played any cool games recently? There's a lot of good stuff that's come out in the past few years. I like RPGs a lot because they can be huge time sinks. It makes it easy to lose yourself in those kinds of worlds and zone out for a while. I've been getting into Metaphor Refantasia lately. They really lean into the running gag where Hulkenberg craves and eats all the weird foods, including a giant enemy chicken, maybe a bit too much. But otherwise, it's a great time. It's fun traveling the continent with your friends and your gauntlet runner, and cooking up all the recipes you unlock as the game progresses. It makes me want to take a road trip of my own. Maybe I'll make another video talking about it more in depth. I haven't really had the time for that recently, though. Or for games, all that much. Too busy with other stuff. If there's actually such a thing as a healthy work-life balance, I don't think I've figured out how to do it just yet. But that's okay. I get the chance to do all kinds of things, even if it means prioritizing one over the other every now and again. I've always liked keeping myself busy. Jack of all trades, master of none, and all that. Master of one would be nice, actually. But that's another conversation for another day. The only thing separating the days from each other is sleep. But the problem is, I kind of like thinking about the things I'll do tomorrow, today. Especially right before I'm about to fall asleep. It's my own very inefficient way of planning out my day and what I can look forward to the next day. Not everything is something worth looking forward to, though. Maybe you've got something like that coming up. Like a big exam. Or a doctor's appointment. Or another date with someone you're not super interested in, but you're too afraid to say, hey, maybe this isn't for me. But it's okay. Tomorrow's just your future yesterday. I hope I can make some more time for games in the future. I hope you get to make more time for the things you care about too. Like looking at the sunlight, dappling through the trees and casting dancing shadows on the floor. Or driving around town and people watching. And getting mad at the guy that's tailgating you on the freeway. Fuck off, guy in the Dodge Charger. No? Just me? Oh, well. Speaking of driving around town, the other day, I went to go to a Thai restaurant that I hadn't been to in a while. They have really good curry and satay, and the inside of the place feels nostalgic in a way, with all of its colorful decorations and a TV in the corner playing Jerry Springer, depending on what time of day you go. Anyways, I go in, and the guy behind the counter immediately recognizes me, since I used to be kind of a regular. I've been going to this place for years now, and I still don't know the guy's name. I think it was something like Ricky? I don't know. Anyways, Robert starts asking about how I've been. You know, the usual small talk. I'm kind of surprised he recognizes me at all, since I don't think I make that strong of an impression. But he's pretty cool. He still remembers my order too, since I get the same thing every time. Chicken pineapple curry, with a mojito on the rocks. He even gives me the student discount still, even though I haven't been a student at the place nearby for a couple of years now. Thanks for being chill, Raiden. It's those small interactions with people you haven't seen in a very long time, strangers really, that really point to how much of an impact you make on the world around you. Even if you don't believe you do, you'd be surprised who remembers you. If anything, I feel that a lot of my time goes into remembering nowadays. I find myself reminiscing a lot, usually unprompted and rarely on purpose. It's like remembering about that cringy time you spilled milk all over yourself in middle school, in the middle of the night. Except it's remembering every person that's crossed into your life and the time that you've spent together with them. Sometimes in the middle of the night. Sometimes in the middle of standing in line at a food truck to get a cup of gelato that has a price tag in the double digits. But man, it was a really good mango gelato. And it was 100 degrees outside. Can you blame me? But yeah, there's times where I look around and I can see the tiny marks they've made on the environment around me, like a birthday card sitting on my bookshelf, or an old hoodie that I never gave back. It's like proof that they were real, and that those experiences did happen. They weren't just a dream. Although, maybe those kinds of things are pretty old-fashioned, now that I think about it, huh? Most people probably just go through the photo reel on their phone if they want to look back on old memories. Or they have it neatly organized on Instagram or something. I do that too. Although, it's nice having something physical to remember someone by. I used to do a book swap kind of thing with friends, where we'd swap books and write our notes and thoughts on it in the margins, and give them back to each other when we were done. I haven't seen those people in years, but it's always fun flipping through the pages and seeing what they wrote down. It's kind of like looking at your high school yearbook as an adult, although maybe not in an obsessive way, as I've heard some people like to do. Granted, I'm not one to talk. I can't bring myself to get rid of any voicemails from people that I used to know. It's silly, but it'd be like removing them from existence, in a way. At least, from existing in my world. If that makes any sense. There's probably a better way to put it. And there's definitely a couple I should get rid of. But I don't think I will. It's nice to be able to hear someone's voice, even if they're not around anymore. It is pretty sad that people can drift away from each other. I know it's par for the course and that it's normal for that to happen. But I can't help but wonder if I could have done more to keep them around, be more proactive, or more approachable. But still, I know that I have to look to the past, but never stay in it. At least, that's what I'm trying to do. Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to get all sappy on you, or to ramble on for that long. My thoughts are probably pretty all over the place, now that I think about it. From your perspective, I probably don't make a lot of sense at all. The yapping is incoherent, messy, unorganized, nonsense. But they're what I experience every day. So thanks for letting me organize my thoughts by talking about them. I'd be happy to do the same for you anytime. Hey, looks like it's done. I really like Lfrith's color scheme. It reminds me of the ocean on a rainy day, or The way the brake lights of a car shine off into the distance on a dark, cloudy night. Cool shit. I'm sure the pilot would be proud. It's getting pretty late for you, I'm sure. I won't keep you much longer. You know, I started our chat with a quote from a wise dead person. So I'll end it with a quote from a wise alive person. Someone once said, "If you're able to find one person in the entire universe to care about you, why would you want to disappoint them?" So, hopefully this talk or this plastic robot didn't disappoint you. Thanks for listening. Good night.